Reason why the Enigma code was so hard to break explained. In the dark years of World War II, one machine held the power to decide who lived and who died. Every message the Nazis sent, every submarine order, every attack plan, every secret command, passed through this device, the Enigma machine. It was the most advanced encryption system of its time, so complex that even the world's best mathematicians thought it was unbreakable. 4 years the Allies tried and failed to crack it. Millions died before they finally broke its secret. But why was it so hard to break? To understand why the Enigma was so hard to crack, you have to see how it worked. It looked like a typewriter, but it was far from one. Each letter you pressed didn't just substitute for another, it changed every time. The Enigma used a system of rotating wheels called rotors. Each rotor scrambled the alphabet in a different way. And with every key pressed they rotated, changing the encryption pattern instantly. By the time you finished typing one word, the internal settings had already shifted thousands of times. And that's not all. There were plug boards at the front that swapped pairs of letters before the signal even reached the rotors. When you combine all the possible rotor settings, plugboard connections and daily key changes, you get over 150 quintillion possible combinations. That's 150 quadrillion ways to set up a single machine. To break that without knowing the settings was like trying to guess a single grain of sand on an entire beach. Every day German operators changed their Enigma settings at midnight. Every message sent that day could only be read if you had that day's exact key settings. By the time the Allies even intercepted a message, the code had already changed again. It was like chasing a ghost that reinvented itself every 24 hours. And these weren't simple messages. They were full of military jargon, abbreviations and random codes, impossible to recognize without a crib, a known word or phrase hidden in the chaos. Without that clue you were decoding blind. But somewhere in Poland, a few brilliant minds had already begun to unlock the secret. Long before Alan Turing or Bletchley Park became famous, 3 Polish mathematicians, Marian Rejewski, Jerzy Rositzky and Henryk Zygalski, were the first to actually break the Enigma. Using pure mathematics and logic, they reverse-engineered how the machine worked, without ever seeing its insides. They built replicas, designed machines called Bombas Kryptologiczne, and could read German messages, until the Nazis changed the system. When Germany invaded Poland, the codebreakers shared everything they knew with Britain and France before fleeing their country. Their work would become the foundation of what happened next, the greatest code-breaking operation in history. Bletchley Park, a quiet mansion in the English countryside, became the beating heart of Allied intelligence. Inside, mathematicians, linguists and chess champions worked around the clock to break the Enigma. And among them was a quiet, eccentric genius, Alan Turing. Turing realized something no one else had: humans couldn't outthink Enigma, but machines could. He designed an electromechanical brain, the bomb, capable of testing thousands of Enigma settings automatically. Each bomb could check up to 17,000 possible rotor combinations a minute. But even with this breakthrough, the Germans kept upgrading Enigma, adding more rotors, more complexity, and even separate versions for the Navy that were exponentially harder. The stakes couldn't have been higher. Every minute the Enigma stayed unbroken, more Allied lives were lost at sea. Then came the miracle, not in mathematics but in courage. In 1941, British sailors boarded a sinking German U-boat and captured its Enigma machine, along with its daily key settings. Show reenactment: sailors in rain hauling machine from water. It was one of the most dangerous missions of the war, but it changed everything. With the captured keys, Turing's bombs could now be calibrated to test specific patterns. It was like finding the combination to a lock you'd been trying to pick blind. For the first time, the Allies could read Nazi communications in real time, convoy routes, attack plans, even Hitler's orders. The tide of war began to turn. The breaking of Enigma became one of the most closely guarded secrets of the war. Codenamed Ultra, the intelligence it provided helped the Allies win critical battles, from the Atlantic to North Africa. But it also had to remain hidden. If the Germans suspected the code was broken, they would change it again, and the Allies would be blind once more. Churchill later said Ultra shortened the war by at least 2 years, and saved millions of lives. But no one knew. Not until decades later did the truth finally emerge. The Enigma was hard to break because it wasn't just a machine. It was a moving target, a masterpiece of logic designed to outthink humanity itself. But in the end, it wasn't brute force that beat it, it was human brilliance. Mathematicians, engineers, and everyday people who refused to give up. Alan Turing once said, "We can only see a short distance ahead, but we can see plenty there that needs to be done. Those words built the world we live in today, a world of computers, encryption, and digital secrets. All born from the battle to break the unbreakable. The Enigma was meant to hide the truth. But in trying to protect lies, it gave birth to the very machines that now define our truth.